Chapter 4.5 is going to be multiplying polynomials. So far we've added and subtracted polynomials, and we did that by just combining like terms. So multiplying polynomials, we're going to have to take into account the properties of exponents. So we'll start by multiplying two monomials. So remember that monomial is a polynomial with one term. So for example, let's multiply negative 8x to the 6th times 5x cubed. So we have to multiply the negative 8 times 5, which is negative 40. And then x to the 6th times x cubed, we have to add the exponents. So it's x to the 6 plus 3, which is x to the 9th. Okay, so that's it for that one. So hopefully that one's not too bad. For multiplying monomials by and polynomials that are not monomials, we have to use the distributive property. So now we're going to be multiplying a monomial into a binomial for this first one. So 2x squared times 3x squared minus 5. So we have to distribute the 2x squared. 2x squared times 3x squared is 6x to the 4th. We had to add the exponents. Minus 2x squared times 5 is minus 10x squared. Okay, and then for the next one, we're multiplying a monomial into a trinomial. So we have to distribute that to each one of those three terms. So 3x to the 4th times 2x cubed gives us 6x to the 7th. 3x to the 4th times 7x, so it's going to be minus 21x to the 5th. And 3x to the 4th times 3, we get 9x to the 4th. Okay, so now we are going to be multiplying binomials. So the product of two binomials, what we have to do is we distribute each term from the first binomial to every term in the second binomial. When we're multiplying two binomials, this can also be called foiling. So the F stands for the product of the first terms. The O stands for the product of the outside terms. The I stands for the product of the inner terms. And the L stands for the product of the last terms. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all of those products, and then our answer is going to be the sum of all those products, and we more often than not have to combine like terms. So for example, let's multiply x plus 2 times x plus 5, so two binomials here. So we have to multiply the x into both terms, and then we have to multiply the 2 into both terms. So x times x, that's going to be the first term, so that's the F. X times 5, those are the outer terms, so that is the O. 2 times x, those are the inner terms, and then 2 times 5, those are the last terms. So there's the FOIL. So x times x is x squared, x times 5 is plus 5x, and now distribute the 2. 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times 5, so plus 10. So combine like terms, we have to combine those middle terms. We get x squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay, and the next one we have 2x plus 4 times 5x minus 3. So we have to distribute the 2x to both terms and distribute the 4. So 2x times 5x is going to give us 10x squared. 2x times negative 3, we get minus 6x. 4 times 5x is plus 20x. And 4 times negative 3 is minus 12. Combine like terms, which are the middle terms, we get 10x squared plus 14x minus 12. And last one here, we have 7x cubed minus 5x times 4x squared minus 3. So we have to distribute the 7x cubed, and then we have to distribute the negative 5x. So 7x cubed times 4x squared is going to give us 28x to the 5th. 7x cubed times negative 3, so minus 21x cubed. Then distribute the negative 5x. Negative 5x times 4x squared is going to give us negative 20x cubed. Negative 5x times negative 3, positive 15x. So combining those middle terms, we get negative 41x cubed. So there's our final answer. So now let's multiply polynomials with more than just the two terms. So to do this, we essentially do it the same way we just did. We're going to multiply each term from the first polynomial into every term in the second polynomial. So this is just not called FOILing, we just can call it distributing. So for the first example, we're going to multiply 2x plus 3 times x squared plus 4x plus 5. So we're multiplying a binomial and a trinomial. So we're going to distribute the 2x, and then we're going to distribute the 3. So multiplying the 2x through, 2x times x squared is going to give us 2x cubed. 2x times 4x is plus 8x squared. 2x times 5 is plus 10x. And now multiplying the 3 through, we get 3 times x squared, so plus 3x squared. Multiply 3 times 4x, we get plus 12x. And then 3 times 5, we get plus 15. So combining like terms, we have 8x squared plus 3x squared, so plus 11x squared. 10x plus 12x plus 22x, and plus that 15. Okay, so that's the final answer for that one. And notice that we're writing all of these in standard form for polynomials, so descending order in terms of the exponents. Next one here, we are multiplying another binomial into a trinomial. So we have to distribute the 5x, and then distribute that negative 2. So distributing the 5x, 5x times 3x squared is 15x cubed. 5x times negative 5x is going to be minus 25x squared. 5x times 4 plus 20x. Now distribute the negative 2. Negative 2 times 3x squared is negative 6x squared. Negative 2 times negative 5x is positive 10x. And then negative 2 times 4, negative 8. So combined like terms, we only have one cube term. We have negative 25x squared minus 6x squared, so negative 31x squared. 20x plus 10x plus 30x, and then minus the 8. And that's the final answer for that one. And then last one here before we get into some special products. So we're multiplying two trinomials this time, so obviously it's going to be a little bit messier. So we're going to multiply the x cubed to every term. Then we're going to multiply the 2x to every term, and then we have to multiply the negative 1 to every term. So obviously drawing the arrows for this one kind of looks pretty messy. So multiplying the x cubed throughout, x cubed times 2x squared is 2x to the 5th. X cubed times negative x minus x to the 4th. X cubed times 5 plus 5x cubed. I'm actually going to rewrite this so I have some more room. Okay, and now multiplying the 2x through, 2x times 2x squared is plus 4x cubed. 2x times negative x is negative 2x squared, so minus 2x squared. 2x times 5 gives us plus 10x. Now we have to multiply the negative 1 through. Negative 1 times 2x squared is minus 2x squared. Negative 1 times negative x plus x. Negative 1 times 5 minus 5. So now combining like terms, we only have the 1 2x to the 5th. And we also only have the 1 negative x to the 4th. And I just realized that I forgot to put this little cubed on that 5x cubed for that third term. Hopefully I said it correctly. I just forgot to copy it down, right? So we have 5x cubed plus 4x cubed. That's going to give us plus 9x cubed. Negative 2x squared minus 2x squared, negative 4x squared. 10x plus x, we get plus 11x, and then minus that 5. So that should be our final answer for that one. Okay, so those are the basics for multiplying polynomials. So now we're going to get into some special products here. So when we're squaring a binomial, a plus b squared, we could just remember that when we're squaring something, that means we're multiplying it by itself twice. So a plus b times a plus b, that's what a plus b squared is. But using the shortcut that we have up here, a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. Similarly, if we have a minus b squared, the shortcut is it's going to end up being a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So we do have to just keep in mind here that a plus b squared is not equal to a squared plus b squared. So let's see why this equals, why that shortcut equals that. So if we're multiplying a plus b times a plus b, we would have to distribute that. So we'd end up getting a squared plus ab, and then plus ab plus b squared. Those middle terms are like terms. They would combine to be 2ab. So there's our shortcut that we have written up top. So let's do these examples using that shortcut. So x plus 4 squared. So it's going to be the first one squared plus 2 times both of them multiplied together plus the last one squared. So x squared plus 2 times 4x plus 4 squared. So that's going to be x squared plus 8x plus 16. So knowing the shortcut obviously is pretty helpful. Or you just keep in mind that x plus 4 squared equals x plus 4 times x plus 4. You'd have to FOIL it and get x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. Combine those middle terms, you get x squared plus 8x plus 16, which is exactly what we already got. Next one, x minus 7 squared. So this is going to be based on that shortcut that's written above. The first one squared, and it's minus this time, so it's going to be minus 2 times 7 times x plus the 7 squared. So it's going to be x squared minus 14x plus 49. And then once again, or you could just FOIL it out, x minus 7 times x minus 7. Next one, 3x plus 5 squared. So it's going to be the first one squared plus 2 times both of them being multiplied together plus the last one squared. 3x squared ends in parentheses ends up being 9x squared because we have to square them separately. 2 times 5 times 3 is 30. So plus 30x plus 5 squared, which is 25. Okay, so definitely a lot quicker with that one, knowing the shortcut so we don't have to FOIL it out. Next one, 4m plus 1/2 squared. So it's the first one squared plus 2 times both of them multiplied together plus the last one squared. 4m in parentheses squared is 16m squared. 2 times 1/2 times 4 is just 4, so plus 4m. 1/2 squared is 1/4, so there is our answer. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one, x times 4x minus 3 squared, I'm going to leave the x out front, and then I'm going to, in parentheses, do 4x minus 3 squared. So it's going to be 4x in parentheses squared minus, so we're subtracting, so minus 2 times both of them multiplied together plus the last one squared. So it's going to be x times, so 4x all squared is going to be 16x squared minus 2 times 3 times 4 is 24. 24x. 3 squared is 9. So now we just have to distribute the x, and we get 16x cubed minus 24x squared plus 9x. And that's our final answer. Okay, and then for the next thing, this next one is also pretty important, multiplying the sum and difference of two terms. So that means a minus b times a plus b. So that's the sum of two terms and the difference of the same two terms. If we multiply those together, we get a squared minus b squared. We get the first one squared minus the second one squared. So these are actually something called conjugates. and they come up a lot in math, and we use them to help us simplify certain things. But they're the same two terms. One's addition, one's subtraction. They're called conjugates. When we multiply conjugates, the middle terms cancel out. So let's see what I mean by that. So let's multiply a minus b times a plus b. So we would have to distribute. We would get a squared plus ab. Then distribute the negative b. We would get minus ab minus b squared. The middle terms are like terms. One's adding, one's subtracting, so they cancel. So we're left with a squared minus b squared. Okay, so let's use the shortcut for this. So we have x minus 3 times x plus 3. So we see that they're the same two terms in both binomial. One's addition, one's subtraction. So the answer is going to be the first one squared minus the second one squared, which is x squared minus 9. And I'll write over here just or FOIL it. Okay, next one, y plus 1/4 times y minus 1/4. So we see that we're multiplying the same two terms, one's addition, one's subtraction. It's going to be the first one squared minus the second one squared. So it's y squared minus 1/16, because 1/4 squared is 1/16. Next one, 5y plus 4 times 5y minus 4. Once again, same two terms, addition, subtraction. So it's going to be the first one squared minus the second one squared. That gives us 25y squared minus 16. And last one for this one, we have a p in front, so it's going to be a little bit, one extra step. So p and then parentheses, 2p plus 1 times 2p minus 1. That's going to be 2p squared minus 1 squared. 2p squared is 4p squared without the parentheses. Minus 1. Distribute that p, we get 4p cubed minus p. Okay, for the last page here, now we're going to be multiplying greater powers of binomials. So it's a plus b cubed. The way that we can do this, we're going to multiply a plus b times a plus b times a plus b, because it was cubed. A plus b to the fourth, we're going to multiply it together 4 times, and so on. There's technically another shortcut for this also, which you could find by multiplying a plus b times a plus b times a plus b. But it's really not that necessary, because it's just one more thing you'd have to memorize or have to figure out here. There's also something called the Binomial Theorem, which we're not doing. So for now, we're just going to be expanding it out like this and then distributing several times. So let's do this first one. We have x plus 4 cubed. So we're going to write this as x plus 4 times x plus 4 times x plus 4, because it was cubed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these two on the right first. So I'm going to rewrite that first one. X plus 4 times x plus 4 ends up being x squared plus 8x plus 16. So if you don't believe me, go ahead and distribute that on your own. Now we're just distributing x plus 4 times x squared plus 8x plus 16. So we have to multiply the x throughout, multiply the 4 throughout. So multiplying the x throughout, we get x squared times, or x times x squared. So x cubed, x times 8x plus 8x squared, x times 16 plus 16x. Multiplying the 4 through, we get plus 4x squared. 4 times 8x plus 32x, 4 times 16 plus 64. Combine like terms, we get x cubed plus 12x squared plus 48x plus 64. So a little bit longer, but still pretty doable. Let's do one more here. So x minus 2 to the 4th. So we're going to multiply this together 4 times. X minus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these two together, and then I'm going to multiply those two together. X minus 2 times x minus 2 is x squared minus 4x plus 4. So is the other one, because we're multiplying the same two things. So once we multiply both of those together like that, now we're just multiplying two trinomials. So we have to multiply every term from the first one into every term in the second one. So multiplying the x squared through, x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. I'll give myself some more room. X to the fourth, x squared times negative 4x is negative 4x cubed. X squared times 4 plus 4x squared. Now multiplying negative 4x through, we get negative 4x times x squared. That's negative 4x cubed. Negative 4x times negative 4x plus 16x squared. Negative 4x times 4, negative 16x. Now multiplying the 4 throughout, we get 4 times x squared, 4x squared. 4 times negative 4x, negative 16x, and 4 times 4 plus 16. So combining like terms here, we have x to the fourth. We have negative 8x cubed. I'm going to underline all these so I don't miss one here. And then we have a bunch of x squared terms. 4 plus 16 is 20, plus another 4 is 24. And then we have negative 16x minus 16x. So minus 32x. And then plus that constant 16 at the end, and we are done. Okay, so that is it for section 4.5.